All right, so apparently Joe Biden did an executive order making it so if you federally got charged with marijuana or something like that, you'll be released from prison. And it's like a minuscule of people that affects. And I'll get into this, my stance on marijuana, but I want to talk about this, and hopefully I do talk about, I remember talking about the marijuana later on. So I made a video um, poking fun at Alex Jones, right? And I like the dude. And if he ever seen that, he probably would laugh at it. He probably would play it on his show because it's satire, like all these shorts I'm making. I'm trying to use humor. Maybe it's very cringe. Maybe it's not very funny. Some people find it funny. I find some of it humorous, but the bottom line is me trying to get a message out there. And I try to do that whether it's these type of long format videos, shorts I make, a book I write, music I create, um, all these types of ways. There's a message I'm trying to get out. Um, but this is the left wants to put me like I'm in a cult when I make fun of and I will call out people on my side, which they won't. They'll refuse. They will stick next to and protect their leaders, even if they're extremely wrong. They'll still stick beside them. Um, because they're projecting. That's what they're doing is they're projecting. And this whole thing of what Joe Biden is trying to do about marijuana, they are holding on to this. You know, they had the blue wave. There's no reason why they couldn't federally make it so like it's not federally illegal anymore. They've had all this time. They haven't done nothing. They have Congress. They basically have the Senate too, and they have the presidency. They haven't done nothing. But they want to hold on to it right before the midterms and play this card like it matters because you're going to have people who um are ignorant and be like, "Oh yeah, they're going to legalize weed, man, federally." When they're not. They're not. It's just a presidential executive order. And I completely agree with it not being federally illegal anymore. It should be left up to the states, with most things should be left up to the states. Um, Less federal government, the better. They should just be protecting the states from foreign entities that want to destroy us. That's it. But they're on their side, right? They're trying to actually destroy us. From it's so funny. Um. So and I'm not just gonna call out the left. Rudy Giuliani. He made Hunter Biden's laptop come out like right before the election. I really am tired of these politicians doing this crap. When are they going to start not caring about their self interest and being super famous or super rich and actually work for us? They haven't. They're not working for us. They can't even work together. At some point, we just have to throw all these people out of office, restart it from the bottom up, from top down, not the bottom up, top down. They need to go, all of them, pretty much. There's only like a handful of politicians I even respect at this point. And then you got politicians like um, Lindsey Graham or what's her name, something Cheney, who don't even care about freedom. they are working with the other side, and they pretend like they're working against them. And these people like Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell, I despise the most, even more so than the radical left, because at least the radical left, they're playing their hand, and they're showing what they're all about. These people that are sellouts like Lindsey Graham, maybe even Ted Cruz, are acting like, oh, we will do this, but they're wolves in sheep's clothing. They're sellouts. They're the fucking worst. They are like the worst liars there are. They're duping people. Um, the marijuana. Um, we have so many people in prison, and we have to pay so much to keep those people in prison every year. If we made, if we let it, if we made it federally not illegal, and left it up to each state to decide what they want to do with it, we could be making a ton of money. I guess you can make paper out of hemp, you can make clothing out of hemp. There's a lot of good things that THC does for people when they have like cancerous types of things. You know, I used to smoke weed all the time, and when I was younger, I was like, oh, 16-year-olds should be able to legally smoke if they want. And now my stance is you should be like probably 21. It should be handled just like alcohol, because whatever you don't like about marijuana, and a lot of people on my side don't like marijuana, they don't want it legal. Whatever argument you have for it to be illegal, I can say the same thing. In fact, way worse for alcohol. You can overdose and die off alcohol. You know how impossible it is to do that with marijuana? My experience with both is when I smoked weed, and it was illegal at the time. Dude, I haven't smoked weed in like 10 years, okay? I don't do anything. I'm pretty much a straight edge at this point. I'm the closest thing to living like a Jesus type of lifestyle when it comes to not having so many vices. I got vices. I mean, I got caffeine, and I got to do a little bit better with my diet. But you know, I've changed a lot of my bad habits. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Marijuana. I'm not saying I'm like Jesus at all. I'm just saying, like, compared to like a lot of these Christians who judge people about, oh, but then they're just like fake and whatever, and they don't go with what their Bible says. That's what I was trying to get at. But with my experience with marijuana is I never got in trouble. I never want to cause problems. All I really did was play video games, create shit, art, watch movies, chilled out, and minded my own business. But when I was on alcohol, I got a DUI. I could have killed somebody. I was out doing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm glad I got caught with that. That DUI, because it changed my perspective in my life, not to do that stupid crap anymore. Drink and drive. I could smoke a joint. I don't know about the weed now, but the weed I had was way worse than the stuff it is now. Not worse, but it's not as potent as what we have now, I guess. From what I hear. You know, after like 3 hours, I could go to a bar. I could be like, okay, I'm gonna smoke this joint, chill with people, have a good time. And then after 3 hours, people want to start going home. They can't drive because they're inebriated. Well, I'm not high no more. I'm sober now. I made a lot better decisions when it comes to caring about tomorrow. I remember being like drunk, blacked out. I didn't care about tomorrow. I would make better decisions on who I would sleep with. You make better decisions. You get these drunk glasses, and you kind of just don't care. You don't care at all. And I'm not gonna sit here and bash on it. I think it's okay in moderation, a little bit here and there. But um, I remember smoking so much weed that I would pretty much just go sober, pretty much. Um, that's the feeling I got. Um, it made me feel relaxed, chilled out. Um, and I just don't think that there's any reason at this point that it should be illegal. Just legalize it for the states to figure out what they want to do with it. You could profit off of it by raising the taxes, and I hear all this crap. Oh, it got legalized in Washington State and Colorado first, and look at all the stuff that's going on there with um, crime or whatever. And I think that's other policies that they got going on there, other socialism type of policies that they got going on there. I don't think it's the marijuana. And I hear, oh, it makes you lazy. Well, you still need to contribute. I still worked when I smoked all the time. I still had full-time jobs. In fact, some of the jobs when I was really young, I was like 18, 19, I would just go to work high. I'm not saying that that was okay, but I'm saying like that that's what I used to do. Um and I was able to function. Going to work drunk, I've never done that. I don't think that that would be very wise. You know, when you're drunk, you lose your motor functions, and when you're high, you're kind of like you're just you're more chilled, and you're less wanting to go out and start problems. In my opinion, people get all drunk, and then their egos start popping off, and when you're high, you're just like, I don't think I want to be in this situation. And you could say, well, it emasculates. Well, I think that there's a balance. There's a problem with masculinity in men nowadays, and extra testosterone in females, and that probably, from what I hear, it could be like the Teflon in our frying pans, or the plastics that are all around their food, lack of working out, lack of um, good male role models and examples in our young men's lives. So, uh, there is, it's like, look at how many people that they just prescribe these antidepressants, these pills. Um, Instead of maybe then having some THC could help them out with their problems. Um, and there is something to say about working out, but and fixing depression and things like that. But um, we have sugar is legal, and that um is classified as a drug. Caffeine. I've gotten off of coffee multiple times, and there's physical withdrawals. They're not fun. It's not like when I quit smoking cigarettes or anything like that. And I know alcoholics, if they like go cold turkey, if they have a high tolerance, they might die. Same with like other hard drugs like heroin. But I got myself off of weed, and that was so easy. Um, and getting off of coffee and caffeine isn't that. It just makes you really feel tired, but there was definitely a withdrawal, and probably with sugar. And there's mental, but I think that out of all the stuff that I quit, all these bad vices that I've had in my life, marijuana was the easiest to kick. Um, there wasn't really a physical type of addiction with it. It was mostly mental. Um, you know, it it opens up thinking, um, creativity, and I'll at some point I'll probably start doing it again. I'm not doing it now. I'm trying to be the best example for my kids. I don't want them to do it right now. There's highly intelligent people I was listening to that said that the male brain doesn't stop developing until it's 28. So I'm not advocating for anyone under 28 that's a man to be doing that, to smoking weed or whatever. I think that it's probably best to stay sober as you can, when you're a young man, and build your life up, get skills, work hard, so you don't have to do it like what I'm gonna have to do. Um, I raised my kids. I got to this point. My oldest kid moved out. My youngest kid is still with me. He's only got a year left. He's 18, but um, I screwed off when I was younger. I didn't work hard. I didn't work hard in my craft of creating, making music. I kind of um, screwed off. I was lazy about it. I'm not saying I would have been like the next uh, John Lennon or anything like that. And maybe it would have all been for nothing, But I should have at least got some kind of a skill underneath my belt when I was younger. But I used marijuana and I got lazy. And I didn't have any moderation when I was younger doing this type of stuff. That's a problem. And I think there's if there's moderation with anything, it's okay. Um, I didn't have a pot to piss in when I was younger. Didn't have much of what would I say? Like, people have it better off. They have a better starting chance at life. Like, okay, let's just say Donald Trump. He had $1 million borrowed from his dad, and he made multiple $1 billion out of that. A lot of people, don't have that luxury. I remember when I was younger, I didn't have dental insurance, and I didn't have insurance on me. And I was like 18, I had to get my wisdom teeth pulled. It was swelling up, and it was almost to the point where the dentist said, if I would have let it go a little bit longer, I would have ended up dying from the infection because it was puffed out. I couldn't afford it. I had to ask a friend for money to help me out and pay him back. That's how that's where I was at that point. And at that point in my life, I didn't have a good male role model to see their example and them to give me wisdom. I didn't have that. It's pretty much figure it out. That's how it was when I was a kid. So that's why I went towards that. So I think that marijuana should be left up to when you're 21, much like alcohol. And just align it with whatever alcohol does. If you want to keep marijuana banned, well, you're going to need to ban cigarettes. You're going to need to ban alcohol too. That's my opinion. So as long as alcohol is legal, marijuana should be legal too. And I don't see them banning alcohol anytime soon. There's obviously a problem with banning things. You have a black market. You had the bootleggers back in the 30s or whatever with alcohol or 20s. And I think that there's a problem with our government. I have no proof of this. This is me connecting dots that they allow all these drugs to come in. Why do we have so many drugs here? Why are we worried about Ukraine? We're sending all this money to Ukraine. What is Ukraine doing for us? Why are we not destroying these cartels and liberating these people and countries south of America? Why, you know, why are we not giving tax breaks to companies that want to go from China and go to countries south of America and build up those places? So people want to come here from illegally because they want to have jobs. Well, if we had jobs for them down there, they wouldn't want to come over here to America. If we eliminated the cartels, which we should be fighting the damn cartels because they make the governments corrupt. First and foremost, we need to fix our own government before we go and worry about anybody else's, because our government, our federal government, is highly corrupt. We need to quit worrying about other countries that reside on a different ocean than us. We need to worry about stop giving people welfare, stop giving people incentives to not work. We need to have jobs for people here to work. If they don't, they need to get weaned off of welfare. You don't just stop it out of nowhere, which is going to happen because we're going to run out of money. At some point, our national debt's going to get so high that the GDP that we produce every year is not going to cover the what is that called? The amount we have to pay on interest every year to sustain our debt. Last I seen, and I did this a couple years ago, I think that our national debt was 21 trillion at the time, and now it's over 30. And at the time, it was like we had to spend $400 billion every year to sustain to pay our debt every year. And that's probably getting worse. So if we keep on spending money, we keep on sending money to other countries, we're devaluing our currency. We're pissing other people off, like Russia. It's like, if we would just stay out of it, get out of NATO, fuck NATO. Like, why are we even in NATO? Why? Get out of NATO. Just worry about ourselves. Our cities are so dilapidated. It's unbelievable. We need to worry about ourselves. We have to fix our own selves. We're worried about other people's houses burning down when our own house is burning down. We're worried about trying to fix other people's marriages when our own marriage is about to end. We can't help everybody and then leave ourselves out to dry, and that's what's happening here in America. And I think that what these people are doing on the left, like Joe Biden, is depleting our national reserve in oil, and they want to go to other countries from clear across the ocean to bring oil in over here when we can be drilling. We got plenty of oil here in America. In different states, we can drill and be energy independent, have low gas prices for Americans, but it seems like our wealth is being siphoned out. That's what it seems like they're doing to me. Devaluing our dollar for the reset. And a lot of Americans just, hey, as long as people are well fed, nobody's going to do anything about it. They're just going to let it happen. It's going to keep going and keep going, and at some point, the train's going to come off the track. From what I hear from very smart individuals, that Social Security is supposed to run out in 2034. Medicare, I think, is supposed to run out before then at some point. I think it's like 2028, 2026, something like that. Well, what's going to happen then? And this is what I wanted to get into. When people are, I should do that a different video talking about euthanasia, because this video is going on long enough. But my thing is, these politicians don't care about us here in America. They lie to our faces. Um, Obviously, we have a fascist federal government who tells tech companies what to do, who to censor. Um, Namely, the FBI. What it seems like. Um, they have just too much power, and they keep on expanding. That's have 87,000 more IRS agents. How about we just get rid of the IRS? How about we get rid of the Federal Reserve? Because the Federal Reserve is owned by private banks. We don't owe money to ourselves. We owe money to private individuals, the richest people on earth. New World Order. That's why I don't understand people on my side who are supposed to be against these people, but then they hold on to their dollars. It's like, but you hate Bitcoin. Okay, whatever. Bitcoin is supposed to be like for the people's most decentralized type of currency, but you know, you can have your dollars. Oh, they ain't gonna be worth nothing. Look at the how much it's been devalued over the years, and it's just getting devalued quicker and quicker. The only reason that our currency has any value anyway is because everyone backs their currency with our currency, and BRICS is coming out when you with China, I think Brazil, Russia, and a couple other countries. They're making a world reserve currency, and it's actually backed by things, not backed by debt, what we have here in America. And it's going to be interesting to see. From what I hear from very smart individuals, is that we're not going to have a global leader, which I'm going to tell you guys, and it's been the longest time in my whole life that America's always been the good guy. We're not the good guys. We're not. We're not. We have become the bad people. We keep on getting involved in things that we shouldn't be getting involved in. If we wanted to start a world coalition, like a NATO, which every country is involved to stop a massive problem, that's cool. Like the UN, that's cool. And everyone pitches in equally. But we don't. And America always has to be the one that pitches in the most, whether it's like a Paris Climate Agreement, and we have the strictest laws that suppress us here, and then you got other countries that like China that can do whatever the hell that they want. And the American people, they're just being distracted. But the problem is, here's the problem: your distractions are running thin. That's a problem, and they know this. They know that their popular culture is becoming watered down, whether it's movies, TV, music, hell, even sports, is becoming so watered down, boring, that at some point you're going to have a lot of people waking up because they're just giving them the same stuff out, same movies, same video games, and people will be like I'm playing some old video games, a couple years old. Why would I buy the newer versions when they're basically the same game? They want me to pay full price for a game that's basically the same as the one I already have. And that's what I'm saying. It goes with movies, music. What the independent artist is gonna blow up. That's what's gonna happen. People like Tom McDonald, people like Tim Pool, people like um what's his name, Tate. He's not a, I don't think he's an artist, but like you don't just have one thing. You're just one, like you're this famous actor like Brad Pitt. You're a one trick pony. No, you're a multiple person like me. Okay, I got music. I got a book. I got videos. Um, so like I'm not just a one trick pony. Um, the and I have different types of videos. It's not just the same video. Um, at some point, the algorithm's gonna get way better, where people like me who don't just produce the same shit over and over again. You go on TikTok, you go on here. You can only get notoriety if you put up the same thing over and over. Um, you you're known for one thing, and something else lifts you higher. Um, like I was saying about Tate, he did the kickboxing, and he went to the Big Brother, and then now he got famous off of it. Like it propels you, but other people are gonna lift other people up at some point. Um, and I'm gonna be honest. Here in America, I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but here in America, creativity was fucking awesome. It was like first rate. Now, it's not really. It's not. There's creativity out there for real, and I see it. I see more creativity out of regular people than I do actual the mainstream industry. Way more creativity. Um, I'm more creative than a lot of the shit that they put out with all these expensive writers. But you're gonna see um, a mediocre type of creativity that gets really really good traction. There was It's kind of like watered down creativity because there's such a lack of it. I think there's a lack of it, and um, you could have like a minuscule of creativity, and people will be like, "Dang, that's cool," because there's so many drones out here. There's so many sheep that this can't. They don't have that gift, and what we have going forward is people like to be entertained. That's what people like to be entertained. Whether it's a video game, a movie, listening to me, listening to somebody else, listening to a podcast. People like to be entertained, but um, you you could get notoriety not being the most creative person, like somebody back in the day, like a John Lennon or something like that. And it's funny seeing these actors and actresses on these social media platforms, seeing the lack of creativity, and the only reason why they get views or whatever is just because they're already famous. Um, but yeah, I don't know. This video went on longer than I wanted to, but that's it. Y'all take it easy.